Hey guys, everybody talks about Cebu City when they plan a trip to the Philippines. I guess it's the food, the nightlife, the malls, basically the big city life. But I'll be honest, I actually didn't go. I stayed across the water in a calmer place in Dumaguete. And after visiting parts of Cebu Island, and seeing the contrast, I'm actually really glad I made that choice. And in this video, I'll explain why I skipped Cebu City, and the slower, quieter life around Dumaguete made much more sense for me. And it's not that I didn't avoid Cebu completely. I explored the island, and it's a beautiful island, and it's great views, great beaches. I mean, I love driving along the coastline and seeing that beautiful colors and the oceans and stuff like that, which is just fantastic, and the energy along doing that. But really what I want to emphasize on that particular stuff is actually closer when you live in Dumaguete versus Cebu. And it's very easy access to get to that island. Like, I'm literally 20 minutes away from the pier, and I'm on the boat for half an hour, and then I'm on the island. So I've stayed there several times. I don't mind spending a night or two to enjoy those luxuries of it, right? And for example, the whale sharks. It's once I'm on the island, it's only a half an hour drive to the whale sharks. I think if you're from Cebu City, it's actually going to take you several hours, like 5 or 6 hours to get to those kind of places. So that is a huge difference, right? And then when you compare what's available in Dumaguete and close by Dumaguete, for example, the beaches, the snorkeling, the hot springs, there's several to pick from. There's called Twin Lakes, that's not very far, lots of beautiful little rivers, and they're all close. They're all a little bit different directions, but they're very close from the center of Dumaguete. These are, and good price, okay? Good entrance fee and stuff like that, which I found another thing. Like, for example, a lot of places are free. And some of the beaches right along Cebu City that are usually pretty crowded and a little bit more expensive. It's not as pleasant just to do a daily random trip to. Correct me where I'm wrong. I'll leave that in the comments, but that's what I've found so far. And I would say the cost of living is, when you take the overall price of rent, food, entertainment, it's also quite a bit cheaper in Dumaguete as well. So it's, when you want that balance, like, here's an important factor though. If you need the city life, like if you need all the amenities, I'm not saying Dumaguete doesn't have them, but if you need a lot more, and if you need specialized health care, you may want to consider going into the city. Healthcare in Dumaguete is really good. It's got some really good hospitals there. I myself go to Ace Hospital, found it never to be a problem. But I've been told if you need like an extreme specialist on certain cases, you may not find them there. I myself haven't run into that issue. I've had to go for my eye problem. I've had, like, literally I couldn't see out my eye. I've seen an eye doctor specialist. I've had great service there. I can't complain about it. But the real factor as well is transportation. There's one thing that is much more better in Cebu is they have taxis and on Grab and all this kind of stuff. And they do not have that in Dumaguete. They only have the tricycles. So if you rely on other people's transportation, that's something to consider. I drive myself, so that's a big factor. And anyway, I'd just like to get your thoughts, what you think, and what you have experienced. If you've got any feedback on that, this is kind of my journey. I'm looking for my own neck of the woods where it's peaceful and finding my budget and inner peace and happiness. So leave a comment if you like this kind of content. I'm not splashy and making all sorts of weird clickbaits, but basically talking and just getting the facts out there. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe. I'll be also doing some lives if you want to ask direct questions and interact that way as well. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks.